What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today at the request of PK McQuaid. PK, we're doing this one for you, my friend. I know you requested this about a week ago. We're getting to it now. Sorry it's taking so long, but this will be a more in-depth video than the usual videos or the usual segments for various cryptos. You wanted me to do a more in-depth video, so here it is. This might be the most in-depth video from a technical perspective that I've ever done on XRP, or perhaps one of the more technical ones that I've done in a while. So if that sounds good to you, hit that like button. Buckle up, you guys. Let's get going. We are sitting at about 59.14 cents. We're sitting here on the 4 hour. This 123, this green line here, is the 123 moving average of the 4 hour. It's not always respected, but in this on this chart, I feel like it does show some respect here and there on this line, and we are looking like we're finding support on it now. Overall, I think XRP looks very bullish. The 4 hour looks bullish. You've definitely taken a break here. The weakest that you've seen in its in its reading in a very long time since this big dip here, and it's only resulted in a higher low, like 3 higher lows since that last bout in the oversold zone. So it's looking very resilient. All I'm trying to say, it's looking very good from this perspective. I do think it looks reset and ready to go up higher from here. So that's good for the immediate term stuff. We're going to phase into the longer term stuff out of the shorter term stuff here. So just bear with me. Hitting the 50 area, overall this daily RSI does look really strong. You were looking very weak for a solid bit of time, and now you're doing things differently. You're holding above the 50, whereas before you were holding below it predominantly. So this is new behavior. I would expect new actions to beget new behavior, right? All this bearishness back here, you were slowly moving down for a solid bit here. Now you're coiled up, looking like you want to go up higher. Whenever we get to these overbought readings, you're probably going to see this breakout move come into play, which breaking out of here would definitely lead to a breakout of this larger kind of consolidation phase, this downward channel that you're in right now. You can see it is definitely slanted to the downside, right? You were slanted up here, and then now you're slanted downward here. So breaking out of that, I think, would be a big deal. It all starts with the daily. It all starts, whenever it wants to start, I suppose, right? It could be any day now. It could be any week now. And we're going to get into that as well as to when I think this breakout's going to be. But things are looking good, relatively speaking, in the very immediate term, over the days, over the hours to come, today specifically, and onward. I do see some green side, but is this going to be the point in time that you break out from here? I mean, it's possible, but I'm not holding my breath over that, right? You could just as easily move up. Things could get a little bit bearish. Perhaps you come back down and you form an overall higher low still in this kind of trajectory of lows, and things are still fine. You just come back to fight another day, maybe like a month from now or something like that. Who knows how it's going to look, but at the moment, things definitely look productive and like you want to go to the upside. What you want to do is you want to get this RSI to live above the 60. You want to get readings like this that are living above the 60, not just poking their heads above it and then getting below it. The 60s, just so you know, is right here, right? This line. So you're looking productive. Follow through with it. Follow through with it. Don't just peek your head through and then reject. Because if you do that, you're probably going to get that lower low, or I guess it's a higher low, but a lower low from the current price that I was just mentioning. To put that in a price perspective, I'd like to see you get daily closes above 62.65 cents. If you can do that, I think things are going to start looking really good, like really, really good in the very immediate term. But we're not there yet. 59 cents, 62.6 cents. It's not that far away, but far enough to not get too excited just yet. The weekly RSI looks very, very bullish. This is very exciting. The longer term time frame stuff, the daily, the weekly, they're looking really good. The monthly, let's see, also looks very bullish, actually. And we're going to go over that timing in just a second, guys. I actually think XRP is overdue for a breakout, hint, hint. But looking good, right? You're in this channel downwards, however you want to draw it. It's something like this. You interact with the bottom, you come up, come down, come up, come down. Now you're at the top here, and you're consolidating, right? In this zone, you're just consolidating right at the upper part of this downward sloping channel. And this is... Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking right there. I just ate some food. A little indigestion there. This is behavior that you would expect right before a breakout, right? Something like that. So it looks really, really good. I do like the weekly RSI as well, holding the 50. Getting above the 60 would be nice. Same kind of request here on a weekly basis to get above the 60. Don't just peek your head above there, but get up there and live above there. And you'll really start to see some follow through with this upside. I think that you're about to. So I think enough beating around the bush. Let's get to a high point here and a low point here. I'm not going to take that low. I feel like maybe I should. Maybe I should. You tipped the 618, so we'll do that. Whenever you break out of this zone here, we're looking at a 77 cent to 84 cent price target for the immediate term. But ultimately, I would expect you're on your way up to like $1.19, $1.62, somewhere in that zone and beyond. It's looking really good. That's when things are going to get very exciting, right? We look at the monthly here. I actually want to draw this like this from a high point there to a high point there. If you were to get in this expected zone of extensions, these fib extensions here, given the current month, the minimum expectation would break you out of this descending trend line here, which, looking at XRP for what it's worth, it looks like it's been in a consolidation phase for multiple cycles now, right? Since the 2017 bull cycle. So it's gone through 2 bear cycles in this consolidation phase, 1 bull cycle and a bull cycle, a half a bull cycle or 2/3 of a bull cycle already in this consolidation phase. So whenever this right here, this little consolidation phase here that we're looking at on the weekly, right, the downward sloping channel, when that breaks, likely your target area is going to be one of these 3 minimum extensions here, which it's between the 1272 to the 1618, between about $1.19 to $1.62. Whenever you hit one of those targets, even the minimum one, given the current time frame that you're in, looking at this consolidation phase based off of this trend line up here, and maybe that's not the proper trend line to take. Maybe it's something like this. There's a couple different ways that you could draw it, but really from the top points or the closing points, that would be how I think would be like the most concise ways to kind of go about it. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is moving up to the expected area that we'd look at when breaking this downward sloping channel would not only break us out of this, but it'd break us out of this larger pattern that we're inside of, right? This symmetrical triangle, right? And I'm going to delete all the noise so we can make it look a little bit prettier. Something like that, right? And maybe it's even more refined than that. That's a little bit tighter there, fitting up with the areas of resistance that we're having this cycle. And then from here, I mean, maybe it's like that. Maybe it's a little tighter, something like that. But we're going to break out of this symmetrical triangle, this consolidation phase, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, with this move up, right? And it all starts, again, with breaking out of this little downward sloping channel here. Let's see. Something that I wanted to go over, now that we're talking about timing a little bit. USD, let's go to the crypto, because it's got like the same history. It's got a little bit more history. We'll do that. And it doesn't have that big giant wick in there. So if we look at XRP's history, this is all of XRP's history, right? Each candle's 1 month. You can see that it's very famous. XRP, I remember back in the 2017 era, what everybody said about XRP was it pumps and then it's very boring, right? That's it. It's good for a day and then it's boring. And that's kind of the name of the game, right? It likes to pump. It moves very ferociously in a very short amount of time. And then it's boring for half a year or more, right? And then same thing, and then very, very boring. And then eventually, like whenever it wants to run, it runs hard. It runs very hard and very fast. And I think those moments are obvious in the chart, right? Clearly, this was a big month here, 73%, but that's not like a normal hard-hitting, uplifting month for XRP, right? That's even small in comparison to some of these more standout months. So if we take those standout months, and I will count this one here, this red month here, this high, because that's where the move took you to, is all the way up here. If we take those standout months and measure how long of a time frame we had in between them, maybe we can gather some kind of consensus as to when we're due for our next one. Because you can see here, the last time that we had any kind of crazy movements up for XRP doing the XRP movements it likes to do. I'm going to stop saying XRP. If I say it one more time, drink. It's been since back here, right? We've gone through a very large gap without one of these moves. And if we measure from the first one to the next time that we started moving, that was about 11 months there. From the end of it there to the beginning of our next crazy one, it's probably about 27 months there. End of it here to the beginning here, that was 7 months, shortest amount of time we've seen so far. End of it here to the beginning here, 34 months. And these are all very random. I know it seems random, but just bear with me. I do have a point, I promise you. I'm not going to measure in between here because you can just see it was a 1 month down and then the next month up. Really, this is probably all part of this same kind of like ignition that was in the month of November 2020. Even though you went lower afterwards, I think this was the beginning of this next move up, right? At any rate, definitely some larger months in comparison to this thing's whole history, and it happened to be right around here. So 34 months before we saw one. I'm just going to keep it there. Since the last time that we saw a crazy month, 180%. It was our 2021 in April all-time, or not all-time high, cycle high, last cycle for XRP. It has been 40 months. We have about 5 days left in this month. So it's about to be 41 months since we've seen XRP do XRP things. This is the longest stint, and even though all these measurements, it might have seemed obscure, and just like thinking about it, it's like, okay, what are you getting at, right? All of these numbers, they don't really add up. None of them are really similar, right? They're all kind of outliers in their own right. But this outlier, the one that we're going through right now, is the one that is the largest by far, right? The largest one we had before was 34 months, and this one came to an end. Actually, something to think about. It came to an end. I'm going to get rid of all these white circles here. I want to see, so because that was the end of the bear market there for XRP, 8 months after its end of the bear market. XRP's bear market this time, maybe not. Hard to say, because it's not in a bear market, but it has this like downward sloping channel. So never mind. That's kind of a moot point what I was going to get at. But all that I'm trying to say is, it's the longest amount of time. I think it's safe to say that we're overdue for some crazy upside potential on XRP. You'll wake up by the end of September, if not by the end of October. It's happening soon, guys. It's gonna be very soon. We're overdue. Certainly by the end of the year, where we're gonna have multiple months that are over a 100% gain for XRP, right? Multiple months in a row. Every single one of these like candles that stand out that I've been talking about, they've all been over 100%. The smallest one, this is like this one here, 125%, 180%. I don't think you're going to get 3 monthly candles like this to just march up, or one monthly candle that's 746%. I don't think you're going to get any of that. But it's 59 cents now. By the end of September, by the end of October, by like whatever month it is, whenever it decides to start doing good things, which really could be now. The daily and the weekly look great. We just haven't broken through the areas that signal that we are breaking out yet. But it could be any day, it could be any week, it could be any given month that you're not just above $1, but you could be nearing $2 or above $2, right? And this is this is going to happen in a very short amount of time. So you're at 59 cents right now. By the end of September, you could genuinely see this thing being worth over $1.30, over $1.50, even over $2. It could happen in a very short amount of time. We're getting to the end of this consolidation period, right? And you're going to pick a side. You're either going to break out to the downside or to the upside. And I think, at least to me, it would seem more reasonable that XRP would break out to the upside. And if it breaks out, if you're in a multi-cycle consolidation phase, I don't think it's going to be like this and then that's it. It could be. I mean, it's possible. Anything can happen. Don't get me wrong. But to me, it seems like you've got some pent-up aggression that you need to take out. And I think it is going to take you up to new all-time highs. The best way to measure this would be taking the all-time high to the low of this consolidation phase. It's also the high of the consolidation phase, this long period you've been in. And your minimum target would be at $8.37. Maximum target's at $27. I don't think this one's possible for this cycle. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're going to go through the numbers and do the math as to what that would look like, right? We've got our Google calculator pulled up here. Let's pull up CoinGecko. I hope this is all making sense. I feel like I'm just letting it fly. XRP. Let's see. We've got a 33 billion. Let's just call it 33,232. Okay. 33,232 billion. Okay, this is $1 billion. So every 1,000, right? If you see this number equal 1,000, that means it's a trillion. Okay, just think of it like that. We're in billions now. Okay, so just trust me. That's what the math will be. If that doesn't make sense, just trust me. From the current price to the minimum expected target, which I do think XRP will hit this cycle. I very much do think it will hit this cycle. And I'm actually even curious, just real quick, from the low point here to the high point of the pattern, I would wonder, would you do it from the breakout or the low right before? I mean, man, that'd call for higher prices, near 20 actually. But that'd be a 14x, okay? 1,300% is a 14x. You get that extra 1, right? It says 13 here. I'm not going to multiply it by 13. I'm going to multiply it by 14. You get that extra 1 because you start with 0% or like you start with your whole thing, it's at 0%. Whenever it goes to 100%, it's 100% more. You just always add an X. So if the numbers are confusing, if you're like, why are you multiplying it by 14 instead of 13? Just trust me. I know I'm doing this right. Okay, I promise. I've done this a ton of times. But let's try to be very, very, very accurate here. 14.1. 14.1. Oops. So that would be $468.5 billion. 460, let's just call it $469 billion at this minimum expected target. I think that's a very doable market cap. I very much would not be surprised at that for XRP. I think it deserves it. It's been in the top 5, the top 10 for most of its life. It was even in the top 3 for a solid bit there, and is one of the few coins that actually was in the top 2 for a very brief period of time as well. And it's remained relevant throughout all its hardships and all of its exchange delistings and getting sued by the SEC. It's remained relevant, and the chart overall does look bullish, and it looks postured to break to the upside. I think that it does deserve. It's one of the few coins that's existed since before 2014 that is still productive and looking good, and things are happening with it, and there's a solid community behind it. So I very much do believe that XRP deserves a market cap that is worth multiple hundreds of billions of dollars. Not only that, but it is one of the few currencies that are in like the top 100 that are truly deflationary, right? Every time you spend XRP, anytime you do a transaction with XRP, it fragments, right? It ripples, and that's why that's from Ripple, right? It ripples. It's been a while since I've read the fundamentals on that. I don't know what the burn rate is with that. It's probably very low, but still it is deflationary. So over time, it should just get more valuable in that kind of aspect too. Something like that, I very much could see being worth $469 billion. Okay, so the next number. Come on now. 22, almost a 20. Let's do 22.9. 22.9. We'll get this out here, and then 22.9. 761 billion is what that would be. It's around 469, 721, or yeah, 761 there. So those are both very doable market caps. I really could see XRP breaking $13 as well by the end of the cycle. Now this is the one that gets a little bit crazy. We're talking about a 40, let's call it a 46x. Let's just round it up and call it a 46x. Yeah, let's just do it. 46. Okay, fine. 45.9 would be a $1.5 trillion market cap. I feel like 500 billion is already impressive, but you want to add like 3 times that, 1.5 trillion. That's where things get a little bit out of hand to me and crazy. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen. I mean, we have seen these kind of movements in one given cycle before. We've seen crazier things happen, right? But I'm not, these are at lower market caps, to be fair, and different times all in all. But I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just not banking on that happening. I'd be very surprised if XRP was at $27 or anything even around $20 or higher by the end of the cycle. But it is a target that's there, right, to be completely fair. Let's see, from this high here, that's not the high. I thought I had it. From this high here to that low, you went all the way up to your 2272, right? You crushed through your 1618. You found significance there. Look, right? You literally tipped it. Found significance there, found support on the 1272, very powerful to consolidate in this area without pulling back, and you went to your deeper extensions, right? And you've actually been respecting, look at that, respecting that 1618 there. Your 2618 is very close to your 1272 here. It's actually like right on top of it, right there. So that really could be a strong area of resistance. I really do believe somewhere between $8.60 based off of this fib, $8.60 to $15 is possible by the end of the cycle for XRP. That's my current prediction. I would stick with that. If anybody asks me what I think about XRP's all-time high by the end of the cycle, I would ask them to refer to this video, because I think that's as good as it's going to get. And you're going to start this move very soon. Hold on. Very, very soon. And I have a theory about this cycle versus last cycle. Just XRP is one of the coins that I share this theory with. And what I'm getting at is this. So a lot of coins last cycle, they topped off before Bitcoin did, right? Bitcoin topped off in November. It was this this phase here, a lot of coins had their highs beforehand. A lot of OG coins specifically, Mana, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. There were a lot of coins, and there's more than that even, right? I'm just naming those off the top of my head. XRP is one of them. I think a lot of people are going to make the mistake this cycle that these coins will top off again before Bitcoin does. And maybe they do, but I don't think it'll be as, if it is before, I don't think it's going to be 6 months before, 5 months before like it was last time. I think it'd be closer, like within a month to 3 month range. So being that that's in mind, I think Bitcoin's all-time high, its cycle finish will come in around October of next year. That's what I'm thinking. So if we put a line there, October 2025, and it could be earlier, it could be later. This is just the number that I'm running with. If we look at that, right, you don't have that much time left to get to these areas that we're talking about, right? You have to move up in a pretty straight line. But if we go back to last cycle, from a low point here to a high point there, that's not the best line. Let's draw it one more time. From a low point there to a high point, right there, like that, right? That's pretty good. It's a little bit smaller than it should be, right? If you look at it, it doesn't cover that whole wick, but we'll use it, whatever. Given the current price that you're at now, all you'd have to do is move that same amount, right? You could move that same amount at that same speed there during this very weak cycle last cycle for not just XRP, but for a lot of different cryptos, right? This is a very weak cycle. If you moved at that same pace, you would be on course for a price above $5 by the very beginning of 2025, right? So if XRP, let me just ask you this, right? All I'm getting at here is if XRP is getting to the point where it's at the end of its cycle, right? The end of its cycle where it sees the longest or the strongest movements, right? We're at the longest distance between seeing these strong movements that we've ever seen in XRP's history, which to be fair isn't the longest history, but out of crypto it's a rather ancient coin for as far as crypto goes. Do you think that if we were at, let's say, $5 by January, which we genuinely could be at by January, do you think it'll have a problem then by the end of the year, by October of that same year, reaching prices around $8.60 to $15, somewhere in that range? I don't think it would have too much of a hard time doing that at all. And I think that seeing a move just like this could happen, literally exactly like this, quick and just explosive, something that we haven't seen, something that's more powerful than the previous cycle. I think so. We're talking about a multi-cycle consolidation phase. XRP is facing a lot of doubt. A lot of doubt, a lot of shade and FUD around it, right? And it's one of the most popular coins. It's been, like I said, it's been in the top 10 for most of its life. It's been in the top 5 most of its life, top 3, and it's one of the few coins that's actually seen the top 2. It's been a very high-ranking coin for most of its life. It's on everybody's radar, but it's also got some of the most shade being thrown at it right now. Coins like that, whenever they're on people's radar, but they're not really considering them, that's when they run away. That's when they do their best work, because all that attention, whenever it starts to break out, that attention, there's security in that. Everybody knows it, so there's a security in investment. So you have more people flocking to it to FOMO, because it's like the easy choice to invest in. And if it's breaking out, and you've had your eyes on it this whole time, you feel kind of dumb whenever it finally does break out and you've had all these opportunities to buy. It's at 59 cents. You wake up next month at the end of the month and it's at $1.50, $2. You're going to be like, dude, I knew it. Everybody knew XRP was, that kind of mentality sets in with these more popular coins, and that helps with these explosive breakouts. At least that's my theory. Beyond the fact that price has been consolidating for a long time, everybody that wanted to buy in this range has bought, everybody that wanted to sell has sold. And now it's just time to go up. Beyond that whole just base line of thinking, I think the psychology of it is you've had so much time to get in, you've had so much time, and then once you finally break out, the reality sets in, right? It doesn't feel real right now. It doesn't feel like XRP could be at $5 by January of 2025. I'm not calling for that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it could do that. It could genuinely do that with ease. As crazy as that sounds, we're at 59 cents right now, but it could do that with ease. So that's all I got to say. I'm going to end the video there. I got some company that I need to address, and I feel like I had something else that I wanted to say, but I can't remember. But XRP is looking good in the short term. It's looking good in the near term and the long term. All it needs to do is just break out of this consolidation phase here, which could be happening any day, any week now. So thank you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.